Just waiting on you. Get started.
Mine public?
These kind of interviews now, it's very
Am I grounded?
I'd like to welcome everybody to our October 19th council meeting. Can you please rise for the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you could remain standing while our Deputy Mayor, Karen Butte, leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the freedom we exercise and the many blessings of democracy we enjoy in these United States of America. We ask for your protection and guidance for all those who devote themselves to the common good, working for justice and peace at home and around the world. Heal us from our differences and unite us with a common purpose, dedication, and commitment to achieve liberty and justice in the years ahead for all people, and especially those who are most valuable in our midst. We pray you this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Lane, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you. Jim, do we have any executive sessions tonight? No, Mayor, we do not. We have our approval of our October 5th, 2022 council meeting and executive session minutes. Can we have a motion second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
We have our approval of requisition list, operating expenses, and payroll. We have a motion second.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. This is for comment on any agenda item. Anybody wishing to be heard, come up, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no public comment, we'll close the public portion. Next, we're going to move into Resolution 2022-205, and this is confronting and combating anti-Semitism. We have a motion second.
So moved. Second.
All right, I'd actually like to come down to the front, if you don't mind. I'd like to welcome a couple people that are here. We have Congressman Patrick Kennedy, who's joining us today. We have a number of representatives from the AJC, the American Jewish Committee, that are here joining us, as well as the Temple Beth Shalom, and Rabbi Gerald Fox. We're very proud to have everybody here today. I think one of the most disturbing things that happened in our community is when anti-Semitic materials were distributed throughout our community. I can tell you, for me personally, shocking. As we get into this more and as we start to talk and build relationships, with Rabbi Fox and with the Jewish community here, we start to realize that this isn't just an isolated event. This is something that's happening frequently across our country. It is wrong and it is sad. I can say one of the things that I'm very proud of in our community is people reached out. People in this community were outraged. They thought it was unacceptable and that there's nothing that we should ever do to allow this to happen. Now, obviously, one point of this is we come in and we start to focus on the negative thing that happens. I'm going to talk about the positive that came from this. one of the things that really came when people really tried to destroy our communities and have like an act of aggression, an act of hate, what it did for the Brigantine community is it brought us together. I think it started to form a better relationship between us and the Jewish community here in Brigantine. I think it started to raise awareness of what we should be doing as a governing body and what our city should be doing to make sure that we can prevent this from happening. We're working with different groups within our school to start an educational piece of this, to start to teach our children. And I really think that that is where the difference comes. You need to start to teach people at a young age about how wrong this is and how we all have a responsibility to stand up for each other in our community. So I'm very proud of the school, and I'm very proud of everybody coming here today. And this resolution is big too. And normally we read resolutions by title, but I think this one's important and we should read it all the way out. So if you will. Whereas anti-Semitism, including harassment on the basis of actual or perceived Jewish origin, ancestry, ethnicity, identity, affiliation, or faith, remains a persistent, pervasive, and disturbing problem in American society. Whereas Jews continue to be a targeted minority in the United States and are constantly the most likely of all religious groups to be victimized by incidents of hate, and such incidences are increasing at an alarming rate. Whereas we acknowledge the following: the attacks on the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the Chabad of Poway in San Diego, the Kosher Supermarket in Jersey City, and the Hanukkah gathering in Monsey, synagogues have felt compelled to reevaluate their own security measures to keep their congregations safe. Whereas the recent AJC, the American Jewish Committee, State of Anti-Semitism in America report found that more than 1/3, more than 1 in 3 American Jews, that's 37%, say they have been victims of anti-Semitism over the past 5 years. Whereas the attack on the Kosher Deli in Jersey City in 2019 resulted in the murder of 3 people, and the anti-Semitic verbal assault in New Jersey have disturbed our communities and must be taken as an opportunity to teach about the issue and seek paths for healing and eliminating such hate. Whereas officials and institutions throughout the state have a responsibility to protect citizens from acts of hate and bigotry, including anti-Semitism, and must be given the tools to do so. Whereas valid monitoring, information analysis, and investigations and effective policymaking all benefit from accurate and uniform definitions. Whereas the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which is the IHRA, by a consensus vote of its member states, adopted a working definition of anti-Semitism in May of 2016, which has become the internationally recognized authoritative of definition of anti-Semitism for use by governments and institutional organizations, whereas the working definition adopted by the IHRA reads in full: anti-Semitism is a certain perceptions of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jews or non-Jews individually and or their property, towards Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. And whereas the IHRA working definition has proven to be an essential tool used to help determine contemporary manifestations of anti-Semitism. Whereas in the United States, the IHRA working definition is utilized by various government agencies, including the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education, and can be utilized by law enforcement agencies in monitoring, training, and education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council of the city of Brigantine denounces anti-Semitism in all forms and calls for healing and education. Be it further resolved that the IHRA working definition of anti-Semitism should be made available as an educational resource for municipalities to address anti-Semitism, other forms of discrimination. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution will be forwarded to our Atlantic County Executive, our Board of Commissioners, representatives in Congress, the members of the New Jersey General Assembly, and the State Senate, the New Jersey State Attorney General, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Governor of the state of New Jersey. I would like Rabbi Fox to come up and join us, and members of the AJC, and anybody you have appropriate to please come up. Thank you very much. I really want to thank you for all the work you take to educate me, to educate council on this issue. I really appreciate the AJC. Thank you so much. On behalf of the city of Brigantine, this moment, the official path of our resolution. Thank you. Yeah. And actually, would all council like to come join too? This is something we all did together. Yeah. I'll bring it back. I just wanted to get it out of the pictures.
Good evening. My name is Andy Demchik. I'm the AJC Director of Outreach and Engagement. And accompanying me today are Morris and Sarita Goschel, both children of Holocaust survivors and residents of Margate, New Jersey. On behalf of AJC, we extend our thanks to the City of Brigantine and the City Council for their swift action to adopt and utilize the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism. With tremendous appreciation to Mayor Vince Cerna and Council Member Michael Reardon for initiating this action and efforts in bringing the process to fruition. We are grateful for your continued support of the Jewish community and recognizing the importance of the endorsement and use of the definition of anti-Semitism. A fundamental step in combating the alarming surge in anti-Semitic incidents is to be able to define what anti-Semitism is, both overt acts and through unconscious bias. The IRHA working definition is anti-Semitism is a comprehensive resource that describes anti-Semitism in the many forms it manifests. Brigantine is commended in this vital step against Jew hatred and in affirming that anti-Semitism will not be tolerated here. We look forward to maintaining a strong relationship, offering ongoing support and resources as needed, and working with the school district in the future. Thank you for this important action. And on a personal note, I just want to share that my in-laws had a condominium in Brigantine for many years, and I enjoyed dinners at the Pirate Stand and coming to Brigantine for my summers. So thank you for taking this step. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
I know, Rabbi Fox, you want to say a couple words? Absolutely, if you'd like, we can hold it for them. All right. At this time, are there any council comments?
Yes, if I could, Mayor. So obviously, this affects all of us on a, well, definitely, most definitely on a personal level to my wife, who's Jewish, and me being her husband. Her father was a Holocaust survivor as a young child. He lost his father, which would have been my wife's grandfather. They were all told to report somewhere when they were living in, I believe it was Western Soviet Union. And they reported there, and then his father ended up at Treblinka. He was sent there, and that was the last that anyone ever saw or heard from him. So he did have a relative also that wrote a book. I wish I could, a distant relative. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I can't. But certainly near and dear to me. And this is, thank you very much for all of you being here. And Mayor and Mike, thank you for your good work on it. And That's all I got. I just wanted to say that much. Thank you. And maybe you know my wife. She used to 10 bar at a 10 bar. She used to be a waitress. She tended bar many years ago. She used to be a waitress at the Pirates Den. So maybe she waited on you for quite some time. She was there. And maybe when she tended bar somewhere, you bumped into her too. I don't know. So, thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
As Dennis said, I want to thank Rabbi and AJC and everyone here tonight that came out. All I can say is when this particular incident happened, all of council, we were on the phone the next morning and the mayor just, he jumped right on it. What do we need? What we talked about it. Police coverage, more coverage down that area of town. What we needed to do, we got right on it, and we were so appreciative when we met with Rabbi and the AJC and the members that came here, and we got help from you to find out the proper thing to do and the proper way to handle it. Also, there was other groups that got together to express their that they didn't like it with Patrick Kennedy, and so the community, as Vince said, really came together in a positive way, and that's Brigantine. That's Brigantine in a nutshell. When we get hit with issues that we have issues that we don't like, we handle it, and we talk about it, and we get it done. So, thank you.
If there's no other comments, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes, and I'd just like to say, I guess just to wrap things up with my father-in-law, he lived with us for some time. And just as far when he was a young child, his mother, obviously my wife's father-in-law's wife managed to flee that area to get into the unoccupied or uncontrolled area by the Nazis, the free part of France, if you will, and eventually was able to make her way to America. So anyway, God bless all those souls. Thank you. And I vote yes, obviously.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
One of the things I'm really proud about with this is it's not just something that we came up with. This is the product of the work between the community, the Temple Beth Shalom Synagogue, and the AJC. And it's something that Brigantine is really good at, coming together, building bonds, and moving forward as a community. So thank you for all of your help and effort in guiding us on the steps that we can take. So I vote yes.
Motion carried.
All right, this time I'll turn it over to Rabbi Fox.
I want to thank, as people have offered again, Mayor and Deputy Mayor and the whole council and all of those who keep us safe in Brigantine and care about each other. I want to thank also, of course, Jen and Camille and all those on the board and leadership of the congregation for all their strong efforts now and in general for making our lives interweaved with the lives in Brigantine. I just have a very brief comment, which is that in every generation, the Jewish community has been faced with some form of anti-Semitism or general animus against it. Each generation has responded to these threats and dangers in ways that affirm the universal dignity of each member of the Jewish community, along with every other human being. One of our Jewish holy texts directs us to pray for the welfare of the government, for without it, human beings would do awful things to each other. Today's passage of the resolution defining anti-Semitism and stating unequivocally that it has no place in Brigantine is an affirmation of our faith in communal institutions such as the Brigantine city government and the city council itself, and in all of our neighbors' shared humanity. On behalf of my congregants, I wish to thank the council for this tangible step toward a more inclusive Brigantine that ensures the safety while declaring the preciousness of freedom, of the freedom of all of its residents and guests. If, as stated in the book of Genesis, we are all, every one of us, made in the image of God, then let us act with God's grace and love for one another. May God bless this community, its leaders, volunteers, and each individual we all call a neighbor. Thank you.
Amen.
I personally would like to thank everybody for coming out today. I know not everybody wants to stay for our whole meeting, so I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. We have a motion second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 5-minute recess. And we'll get started in a second. All right, we have a motion and second to adjourn, or not to adjourn, to resume. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll make
I
that.
heard the Phillies game was on. We're ready to go.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Motion and second to resume. Sorry.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. All right, we have ordinance number 15 of 2022. This is a public hearing and adoption, and this is amending Chapter 65 of the code to change the membership of the Sustainable Brigantine Green Team Permanent Advisory Committee. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, this time we'll open it up to a public hearing. Anybody wishing to be heard on this issue, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no public participation, we'll close the public hearing. Are there any final council comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Ordinance number 16 of 2022, which is a public hearing and adoption, and this is amending the registration and maintenance of certain real property by mortgagees, providing for penalties and enforcement, as well as the regular limitation and reduction of abandoned real properties within the municipality, providing for severable, repealer, codification, and effective date. Motion second.
So moved. Second.
All right, this time we'll open up the public hearing. Anybody wishing to be heard on this issue, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no public participation, we'll close the public portion. Any council comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Sorry, it's a long one. There we go. We have bond ordinance number 17 of 2022. This is an introduction, and this is a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of a ladder fire truck in and by the city of Brigantine in the county of Atlantic, New Jersey, appropriating 1.7 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,615,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. We have a motion second.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? I know we had a great presentation by the chief at the last meeting. Seeing no questions or comments, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2022-206, capital budget amendment. And can we have a motion second?
So moved.
Second.
Roxanne, can you go over the amendment?
Sure, Mayor. Really what this does is, this allows us to introduce the ordinance of what you just introduced, prior to this. When we did the capital budget for the 2022 budget, we did not anticipate, the purchase of this truck. Through the process of our capital budgeting meetings, we came to the conclusion through the information provided by Chief Fuller that there was definitely a need for this ladder truck. So in order for us to continue with our improvement authorization, we had to revise our capital budget. And all it is a reappropriation of the money we originally had budgeted to allow us to include the purchase of this ladder truck now.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2022-207, and this is a place-to-place expansion of premises, Cove at Brig Beach liquor license. We have a motion
So
second.
moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-208, and this is a resolution by the City of Brigantine authorizing the award of contract for planning, design, and construction phase for new storm water pump station and reconstruction project of intersection at 12th Street North and East Evans Boulevard, including additional services. This is for de Blasio and Associates in the amount of $10,500. Have a motion second.
So moved. Second.
For this project, one of the things that was holding us up on this project is the generator is back ordered, probably on hold for another 36 to 38 months. Rather than allowing this project just to sit, we're having the engineer kind of redesign the electrical to do an alternate electric. So this way we're not waiting on the generator. When the generator comes in, we will install the generator, but this way we can move the project forward, get the flood station in place. One, we want to have the benefit of having that there. Two, one of the concerns we have is the longer we wait to do on projects, costs go up. So since the rest of the project can move forward, we're going to do a slight alteration with the electrical to allow us to move this forward and stay within the prices that we agreed upon here. Any questions or comments by council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-209, and this is a resolution by the City of Brigantine authorizing the award of contract for planning, design, and construction phases for 2022 road reconstruction projects for various streets. This is for Arthur Chu Consulting, and this is the amount of $48,000. We have a motion second.
So moved.
One of the things we're starting to notice with a lot of roads, I guess after Sandy, when you had all the flooding, a lot of the sand under the roads packed down. We don't have a lot of run when it comes to our drainage here on the island. So what happens is you're dealing with a couple of inches. As a lot of the infrastructure and things settled, the roads became more flat and the water is not draining, which is causing water to sit on a lot of the streets. Some of the streets themselves are also very old and need to be repaired. So what this project does is starts to address a number of streets that we've had here that just need to be corrected and fixed. One of the things that we're starting to look at too, and this will come up later, is the state of New Jersey has required all municipalities to, we're going to say, upgrade and change their water lines. Where you have galvanized water lines, they're saying the connections for those galvanized water lines have been deemed, I guess, by the state of New Jersey as a potential lead hazard. And as a result of that, municipalities across the state are going to have to change those out. Two things we're looking at with our road repairs. One, all of the roads that are listed in this project, they don't have water infrastructure under them because at some point in time, we're going to have to dig up a number of streets in the town to do that. So one of our thoughts was our sewer lines, a lot of them are original. And as you start to dig things up, especially to change the water lines, what's the material? It's not concrete, it's like a clay, the sewer lines, the original ones. Terracotta. Yeah, they're terracotta. While the terracotta is in place, it's pretty solid. Once you start digging around in the ground, and we saw this with South Jersey Gas, the terracotta starts to fall apart. So one of the things we're going to start to look at is not just replacing the water lines, but also replacing those sewer lines. It's better to plan for it and start to work on it than to have them fail and have to take care of them in emergency situations. It just becomes more expensive. So that's been kind of the thought as we do this. Some of the streets we're going to start to work on don't have infrastructure under them, and you see those in the A zone. As we get moving on this, we're going to probably start this process in the alleys first to get a feel for it and then move out to the streets. So that'll dictate how we move forward. We're looking into what money either the federal or state government has available for that to offset the cost to the taxpayers. But this is placed on the municipality at pretty much the sole responsibility of the municipality. You're looking at somewhere over the next 10 years because of the state of New Jersey putting this on us. It could be a $50 or $60 million project over 10 years. So that is kind of holding up some of the streets we work on. We're going to have more information about this coming out, but it does impact our roads and it's something we're trying to work on. So I just wanted to make sure that people kind of understand where we are and why we're starting to pick some of the roads that we work on initially versus others. All right, are there any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, Resolution 2022-210. This is approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for fiscal year 2022. FEMA Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, which is the BRIC program. This would have a 25% match, and right now, this is just an initial look to see what is out there. Any grants or anything we moved forward on would have to come back before council for approval. Can we have a motion second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-211, and this is approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for fiscal year 2022 FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program. This is the same thing. It has a 25% match. This is kind of an exploratory thing to see what programs are available for flood resiliency and flood mitigation. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-212, and this is a real estate tax exemption for 100% permanently disabled veteran. We have a motion second.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-213. This is a resolution by the City of Brigantine authorizing award of contract for planning, design, and construction for various drainage improvements for portions of Revere Boulevard. This is for milling and paving of Revere and a cost of $2,500. Can we have a motion second?
So moved.
Second.
This ties into the previous RFP we did before. This is connected to some of the drainage issues on 30th Street, which is one of our projects on the list. Part of the issue with 30th Street is when the water goes, it has no way of running around the corner and going to the lowest point. This is going to improve those drainage areas there. So when we come back through and redo 30th Street, the water not only runs down 30th Street, but has a way to get into the stormwater system. It doesn't just sit at the curb. So we're starting to look at projects in the totality of like, where do we start it? How do we make sure that the project's finished? All right, so any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes, I'd just like to say that, very nice to see, obviously. I used to live right off of Revere on 29th Street, and that area does have some issues, so nice that this is moving along. I vote yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up, we have our consent agenda. And this is for the 2023 Brigantine Polar Bear Plunge Request and the Green Whales Racing Special Event Permit. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I have our council manager discussions. Jim?
So I'll keep it short tonight, Mayor. The only thing I have is I want to make sure that everybody up here gets a chance to be introduced to Albert Stanley. Al is going to be our CFO, taking over for Roxanne. He comes to us from the city of Ventnor with decades of not only municipal finance experience, but he also worked for the company, the software company that we use currently in our finance system. So we're really excited about the experience, skill level, and the talent that Al brings. So I ask everybody to welcome him. If you see him, say hi and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Al, I'm going to tell you, we're very, very excited to have you here. And I'm just going to tell you, though, that you got big shoes to fill. Roxanne is the best CFO in the state of New Jersey, and we expect you to be the same. So welcome to Brigantine. Roxanne, got anything for us?
I do not, Mayor.
We'll turn it over for Public Works and our chiefs. Anything? All right, perfect. Then we'll go to our Deputy Mayor, Karen Beal.
All right, it's hard to believe that next week is the 10th anniversary of Sandy. And, keeping in mind how long it has taken us to recover, we're still talking about effects of Sandy. Just think about what is going on in Florida, on the west coast of Florida, and how many decades it's going to take for them to rebuild. So thoughts and prayers to all of them. We had a green team meeting last week. We're receiving a bronze certification from the Sustainable Jersey at the luncheon at the League of Municipalities in a couple of weeks. That's always an exciting time. Bridge Fest was a huge success this past weekend. A lot of different groups and organizations helped out and participated. It was real, and the weather cooperated as well. So it was looking forward to next year's 51st anniversary of the bridge. I just want to remind everybody that yard dirt goes out with your trash now. Last week was or 2 weeks ago was the last pickup from the extra pickup. John, you want to just quick talk about don't put free stuff out at the curbs? The issues you're having with.
I'll be very brief. We've received numerous complaints from residents that when people are having yard sales or they want to, what do we call it, renew, reuse, recycle, they're putting things out at the curb and they're leaving things out there for 3 or 4 days until it's their trash day, and then they just let it go with the trash. So we're asking people not to put things out at the curb until it is their trash day. And we will be doing an educational piece starting in January. We're going to start putting it in the paper and start working on it. But we had to talk about it, the green team meeting, and everybody agreed that they see it also.
Right. So after yard sales, people just leave everything out, come take it for free.
Say free.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Not the look we need. The community garden is still harvesting some of their crops. They still are picking spinach and lettuce and Brussels sprouts and sweet peas. And recently they had a great crop of butternut squash, and a few of the volunteers made butternut squash soup, put it in containers and handed it out to the seniors at the community center, and the seniors were thrilled to get their soup. And that's about it. Just go Phillies.
Go Phillies. Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trunk or
Yes,
treat.
trunk or treat next Wednesday. You were going to talk about that anyway, weren't you?
How's it
Next
to you?
Wednesday at the school. Time, I'm not sure.
Is it 6? Is it 6 to 7:30?
7:30.
Yeah.
Yes, I know they were shortening the time a little bit. If you, there's going to be an article in the paper. There's going to be a number for you to call if you want to just fill up your trunk of candy and come join, give out candy to the kids, especially in neighborhoods where you don't get a lot of kids. Well, Farmers Market was this past Saturday, and then there's one on November 16th, I believe.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
I would do our second ward councilman, Paul
Yeah, I have
Lettieri.
nothing.
Third ward councilman, Dennis Haney. Everybody wants to get to the Phillies.
Brigantine Community School, the Windmill Project, Mayor spoke very well. Nice, great crowd there. Council well represented. I'll wait for your comments on that. Bridge Fest, I actually had a very busy day. I was able to hop in on the tail end of that. I did end up over at the Cove, and Bridge Fest became Phillies Fest, and that was a great time. So that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Turn it over to our fourth ward councilman, Rick DeLucre.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the circumstances, all I have to say is, Al, good to see you. I'm Rick DeLucre. If we have any odds or any issues as time goes on, I'm Dennis Haney.
All right, I'll turn it over to our Councilman at Large, Neil Kane.
I don't have a whole lot. I just wanted to mention that the other night, the Garden Club had their final meeting. And as a commemorative movement, they buried a time capsule right at the community center. So I just wanted to again thank them for all their work. The island did look absolutely fantastic this summer, with all the different displays that they had, especially coming into the bridge with the new one they have now. So yeah, that was their last meeting for the year, and I just want to personally thank all of them for all their hard work.
All right, Councilman at Large, Mike Reardon.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's come out this evening and spending time here with us. We always appreciate it that you stop by and say hello, Frank, right? The resolution that we passed earlier was just fabulous. A great team effort. So happy to see that. Earlier on in the spring, we have our Economic Development Committee. And earlier in the spring, we came up with the idea of the Bridge Fest because we're always looking to try to do more in our shoulder seasons. We're good in the summertime, but that shoulder season is when we want to get people around and bring people around. And this past weekend was it was such a great buzz around the island. Between the farmer's market in the morning was hustling and bustling and good stuff going on there. And then, of course, the 5K run and walk. And the police department guiding everyone with that race there, stopping traffic on need by doing an excellent job. Thanks, Chief. And then registering, and thanks to Jack in the back there for providing the registration process to start at the cove there. We appreciate that. And of course, like Dennis said, the Phillies were on and they were winning, and that was great too. But then I have to mention about the Lighthouse Business District. They're very progressive these days. They're doing a lot from the cellar up to Cook Burger, Black Coffee, the Bistro, Primo Pizza around the Cordaberries. But the block party that they put on the other day for the 50th anniversary of the bridge was just fabulous. I mean, from the back of the Ace Hardware, cooking burgers and hot dogs, the Teal Tail was out there doing stuff, and all around the block right there. If you got a chance to stop by, it was fabulous. One of my highlights was seeing the mayor's daughters and his wife dancing Chicken Eye Joe. I mean, they had a great weekend. So give my compliments to the girls.
Absolutely.
Other than that, as always, the Brigantine Rams were also playing that day. That was another great thing going on. We also had a dedication over the weekend. I want to thank John Doring in Public Works for Chuck Taylor Way, which is right by the Aqua Center there. Chuck Taylor grew up on the island and had started that dream to put the Aqua Center in there, bring it to Brigantine with Robin. And thousands of kids have learned how to swim there. It's been a great asset to the community. And so it was just a wonderful weekend. So other than that, besides all the positivity going on, as usual, if you have any issues or concerns, my number is on the front page of the Brigantine Times at the bottom. You can call me anytime for any issues. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted to say too, I think Bridge Fest was an absolute home run for Brigantine. I know this initiative started with the Economic Development Committee, and I really want to thank Mike for all his hard work on it. I know the Green Team and the Farmers Market got involved, so I want to thank Karen, for everything she does. Obviously, our city departments are always at the heart of everything, so we're very supportive of all that you do. I know the fire department had a great open house. A lot of good activities for the kids that were out there, especially I think when you guys were doing, I guess, the car evacuations, you were cutting the cars open and all that. That was real cool for the kids. My daughter wants a saw now so she can do it to our car, so thank you. But it's like the partnerships, working with the Chamber of Commerce. One of the things they really talk about is our businesses do really well in the summer season, but where they need help is in the shoulder seasons. It's been a good initiative, and I'm going to say a community initiative, to give reasons for people to come here and to celebrate Brigantine. And I think, the farmers market and Bridge Fest and all the stuff that we do really is that draw, and it helps our businesses to succeed. So I want to thank everybody for that. Um, We had our windmill meeting at the school. We had a community meeting at the school back on October 8th. Very, very good turnout. We had over 125 people there. We had a number of elected officials who showed up. We had, Assemblywoman Claire Swift. We had a number of our county commissioners that were there. We had Amy Gatto, Rich Stays, Frank Ballas, and John Risley. We also had, a number of our council members there. I think almost the entire city council was there, as well as our county clerk, Joe Giraldo. And I will tell you, Joe's probably got to be one of the hardest county clerks I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, Joe, what are you doing here? He's like, hey man, you gave the call. I came out. I was like, that's awesome. But it's good to have that support. I've had a number of conversations with the governor's office on this issue. As I had mentioned back a couple council meetings ago, the governor was on a talk radio show called Ask the Governor. When he was point blank asked if 9 miles was too close to shore, he agreed it was too close to shore and that the windmill should be moved out. Through my conversations with the governor's office, I believe that the governor is going to do everything in his power to move the Atlantic Shores windmill out probably somewhere around 15, 16 miles. They haven't given a definite plan or definite information, but what they kind of asked us is if they were more consistent with the other projects and moved out to 15 miles, would that be helpful to our community? I said moving them out would be a huge help. I said, but we also have a number of environmental questions and concerns that we need addressed. We're going to compile a letter on behalf of the city of Brigantine that has the questions, the concerns, things that came up in the meeting, things from our windmill committee, and some of the stuff we've met through our community partners up in LBI as well as Ocean City. We've been coordinating with those groups and talking with them. We'll send those questions to the governor's office. We'll send it to Atlantic Shores and Orsted. We will also send it to all of our elected officials from the local level all the way up to the governor, and Congressman Van Drew has actually asked for the questions too. I know he just released a statement that said, that these windmills are moving way too fast. We need to slow these down and get some answers before we start putting them in the water. And that he's looking in the next year and in the next Congress to start holding some hearings to help us get the answers to the questions we need. It is very, very good to have that support network because this project and this thing that's happening is way bigger than just one little city here in Brigantine. And through our community partners and our relationships with different elected officials, even across the aisle, we're able to work together to try to find, what is the truth and what is the best path for Brigantine to follow. Atlantic Shores is going to be doing an open house. They're going to do that on November 12th at 10 a.m. at the Brigantine Community Center. So we would invite everybody to come out. We're going to also present them with some of the questions that we've been asked ahead of time. So this way that their representatives have the answers for people. I believe probably the best thing is an open house style meeting, very similar to when Atlantic City Electric came in. This way people can come in. There'll be different stations that kind of focus on the different areas of the projects. And this way people can come in, they can ask their questions, and they don't have to wait for long lines of people to get through that. So I think this will be the most open and efficient way to get answers. And they said they're willing to work with us on that. One of the other things I want to bring council's attention to, we're probably not going to take any action on this till January of the new year. But in my conversations with John and with Matt and Jim and Roxanne, there's some issues with our HVAC system here at City Hall. The HVAC system is pretty much original. Our contractors that are here to repair it are probably here, if not once a week, they're here more than that. One of the concerns I've had in talking with our CFO is I really believe we're spending more money in trying to repair this old system than it would be just to put a new system in place. The recommendation of our city engineer is that we should get a mechanical engineer to come in to do an evaluation of the system. There's two things you want to look at. One, do we replace what we have? Or two, is there a more efficient or better system that we could put here in City Hall? So we want to look at the cost of what a new system is going to be versus what we're spending on repairs each week to have the company out there, because at least for me, it seems a little ridiculous to keep repairing something every week. So as I said, I think the way the budget is right now, this is something that we should come back to in January. If it's something we're all agreeable upon, and we'll talk about this in January, I would like to put together an RFP to have a mechanical engineer come in and do that evaluation, bring that information back before council so we can make a decision on what we do as a governing body. But like I said, I don't like to spring things on people. This is something we've talked about for a while. And now I want to share that with council in the direction that I think that we should go in as a body. All right, at this time, we'll open it up to public comment. If you'd like to be heard on any issue, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Yes, Mr. Johnson.
John Johnson, 36 Cook Hill Beach Drive. Today on Harbor Beach Boulevard, they started to install the new gas line.
Yeah.
And I talked to, I guess, one of the workers there today, and he said, yeah, it'll be a while, and then we'll shut it off and put the new system in effect, and we'll probably check the houses. So I thought later in the day, are they going to give us any advance notice on when they're going to do the switch over? And then what about all the people that are not in Brigantine this time of the year? Will they be notified so that they could on their own check or relight pilots as needed with the winter season coming on?
That's a really good question. I'll turn it over to John. Do you know how they do the notification on that?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, Mayor, they notify each homeowner individually. They do not shut off the old main until everyone is online with the new one and all of their pilot lights and everything are hooked up. And I don't know what the date is. After a certain date, they're not allowed to do any shutting off of the gas. And most of that's done in the spring when everybody comes back down.
Yeah.
And that's one of the delays that we see on the reconstruction, is
Yeah.
getting the people aware that they have to come down because they have to be in the house when the gas company does it.
Yeah, somebody has to physically be home so they can come in
Well,
and check
that-
everything
I mean,
inside the house. Yeah.
That doesn't affect me for being home, but for most of my neighbors, they're not here. I don't know how to notify them, but it would be good if they were aware of the situation and could check it out or have someone check it out for them.
I can tell you my experience on that. They redid the gas main on my street and they left obviously a notice on my door, which I was able to see. They shut all the gas off. And in order for me to have it turned back on, I had to call the gas company. And literally, like when I called, I said, "Hey, I just noticed my gas is out. And I didn't notice it till I got home at like 7 o'clock at night. They're like, "We'll send somebody right out." And within an hour, they had someone at my house to check it. So they are very, very responsive in getting people's
That's
power. So
very
when
good to
people
hear.
come down, they call the number that's there, and the gas company will come out, check, and turn everything on.
Good to hear. And my other question would be is on that new ladder truck, what's the size of the new ladder?
It's a 100-foot ladder. So we have a 75-foot ladder right now. We're in the process of purchasing a 100-foot ladder. A big part of that is when the 75-foot ladder was purchased, it was before Sandy. With the FEMA regulations, homes went up as a result of flooding. Right now with the New Jersey PAC regulations, which is the protection against climate threats, they're looking at raising homes potentially another 5 feet. We're still in negotiations with the state DEP on that. We're hoping they come down to about probably about 2 or 3 feet. But we want to make sure that we have a ladder that can actually service the community that we're in now.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, if there's no other public comment, we'll close the public portion at this time. Is there any final council comments? I just want to say it's a great time to be a Phillies fan and a Philadelphia fan. All of the teams are doing great. With that being said, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, there you have it. Thank you for coming out to our October 19th council meeting and watching